go. Face and eye tracking on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It is currently 6:18 in the morning. You might be wondering why, in God's name, am I recording a video at 6:18 in the morning? Well, join me today. We're going to have a little bit of just Eric's thoughts early in the morning because I've been getting up a lot early. I have not been sleeping good for a lot of different reasons, largely my own fault, but I play hockey 3-4 nights a week. That keeps me up till 12:30. Because it's the beer leagues, you end up having lots of beer or some beer. But anything I drink now, because I'm 41, just messes with me and I can't sleep. So I've been getting poor sleep due to that. And then just if I have anything now, I eat anything, chicken wings or any food that's not super clean, stomach hurts, or just keeps me up at night. And then last night, being Thanksgiving, yesterday, again, drinking wine, eating tons of food, having a late night coffee. Here I am, and I'm tired. But these late nights turning into up early morning, 4 or 5 hours of sleep, also lead to a lot of thoughts, camera-related thoughts. And that's what we're here to talk to you guys about today. And so the title of this video, I think I'm going to call this thing Analysis, Paralysis, and Cupboard Protocol. Cupboard protocol being like the cupboards in your kitchen, kind of like that. You guys saw the opening montage or a little bit that I put here. I'm going through a lot of my camera gear, and it's all over the place right now. It's a complete mess in here. And having an internal debate, one that's been the absolute foundation of this channel, which is this channel is largely about camera gear and gear acquisition syndrome. And that's between buying the right tool for the right job and wanting this pipe dream, have this fever dream of just having one camera that I become super familiar with and becomes like a staple of just with me all the time and capturing all the moments for my kids. Now, I've been doing this channel for probably, I don't know how long it's been, 4 years. It's got to be something like that. And the number of cameras I've had is just ungodly. It's an unhealthy amount of cameras. Why does this hat look weird on? I can see myself because I'm using the XE5. I've had an ungodly amount of cameras. And honestly, I don't think that's actually healthy. I bounce somewhere between a heavy amount of consumerism and then also having this dream of being a minimalist. And the two things don't coincide. And that works for cameras as well. In other words, when I swing too much on the materialistic side and I buy a lot of different stuff and I collect a lot of different things, which generally doesn't happen in my life. It's mostly with these cameras and sometimes cars. Then, eventually I'm like, it's kind of becomes just too cluttered and I want to go back to this more simplistic, minimalist approach to things. And in a lot of ways, in a lot of things in my life, I am kind of like that. I play hockey. It's one of my big hobbies. I do not collect hockey sticks or go out and buy the best equipment or gear. I buy good stuff, but I buy it, I use it till it's trashed, and then I move on from it. My gloves will have holes in them, then I replace them. My hockey skates will literally be breaking down, then I replace them. My pants will have tears in them, then I don't do it with other parts of my life. Even in my house, I'm not a big decorator or whatever. My wife is now, different story, but I don't really care about that stuff too much. But for some reason, I'm very sentimental about memories because I know life is short and time on this earth is short. You never know when it's going to end. And about my kids in particular, because I have a 17-year-old stepdaughter that flew by. Now I have a 7-year-old son who's turning 8 next month and a 5-year-old daughter. And I know that's going to fly by as well. And I want to be able to capture as much as I can with it. And in a matter of all of that, I'm kind of failing, honestly. I've got all these pictures that I've taken on a bajillion different cameras. And I originally started out by making photo books every quarter, every season. I did a winter, spring, a summer, and a fall book. I've gotten away from that. They usually get uploaded to my phone because I do them wirelessly on the camera. And then my phone grabs and puts them in Google Photos somewhere. And that's largely it. I do post them on Instagram sometimes or Facebook because they're tied together, but that's kind of the extent of what happens to these photos. And so I'm failing at the actual photography project of things. And that goes back again to how the consumerism piece is overwhelming and preventing me from the actual goal of this whole thing, which is the documenting and the artistic side of things that I really, really, really enjoy. I think that also goes down to kind of how my brain works. In some respects, I'm very artistic, or I can be artistic, but I'm also very analytical and in some cases binary, meaning black or white, it is or it isn't, that kind of stuff. And I overthink things a lot. So all that to say, analysis, paralysis, and cupboard protocol, because they kind of go hand in hand together. Analysis paralysis is what I just talked to you about. It's largely how you have too much gear, and the more lenses you collect and the different cameras you collect, like there's a stress that comes with trying to decide what to take on vacation or whatever. But on the flip side of things, if you go down to just one thing, you never have truly everything you're looking for. This is kind of like wanting the perfect camera. I'll give you some examples of that in my life right now. So I'm recording you on the Fuji X-E5. We'll come back to that in just a second, because as it relates, I also have the Fuji X100VI, which you guys have seen on this channel several times. And then you guys have not seen this. I also have a Nikon Z5 II. And I'll tell you why I have this in a second here. Now, in a lot of ways, I kind of want this to be my one and only camera, because here's the things that I need my camera to do. And this is the problem I run into. I want my camera to be small and portable and be able to go with me just about anywhere. I want my camera to be able to do video. So it needs to have a microphone input as well, because with video, I need to record audio like this one's doing. I prefer it to have a screen where I can see myself. It needs to have decent autofocus, good image quality. I want it to have good straight out of camera colors. I'd like for it to have good battery life, weather sealing, and 2 card slots would be great. Not necessary, but would be great. And that's, and have lenses that are smaller, metal, right? Kind of give me that film aesthetic and vibe. It can't just be a computer with a sensor in it. But in saying that, you might say to yourself, Eric, well then Fuji or Olympus are probably the best things for you. But herein lies the problem. Let's take this Fuji X100VI, for example. It is darn near perfect versus on what I just said. It is weather sealed with a lens filter on it, which I do happen to have. It can record video, although it's stuck at a 35mm focal length. And the autofocus is just okay, because this lens in here is not really great for autofocus, although you can make it work. So I'm not complaining. I've actually used it, made this work in several videos. It only has a single card slot, so that's not totally ideal. And you are stuck to this one focal length. Even if you put the different adapters on it, okay, you go from 28 to 50. Maybe that's enough. But the battery life in this thing is not great. It's got the small little batteries. And honestly, the autofocus is not fantastic, and I can't shoot my kids' sports with it. And so while this probably covers 80% of what I would want to do, it doesn't cover the other 20%. So going down to just one camera, if I wanted to be this, I'd have to make some super compromises on battery life in itself, and also the ability to shoot sports, and then shooting video is kind of a pain. It's not the most ideal situation. Taking, for example, now the X-E5 recording you on. The reason why I got this camera is because I looked at this and I said, well, the shortcomings that I have of this camera, large in part, are covered by the X-E5. In a lot of ways, the X-E5 is a better camera. Now, I would show it to you, but I'm recording on it. But it is interchangeable lenses. That's great. I can mount smaller lenses like the Fuji crons on it, so that I can have different focal lengths, and it still has that metal build and that smaller footprint. It's got an aperture ring. The lens is weather sealed, which is great. It has a flip-up screen, so I can see myself. But the flip-up screen, well, it goes up. And so if I have a microphone like this on it, well, I can't see the screen. And even for these wireless mics, I have to have my dongle just kind of hanging off the side, because if I put the actual receiver on the hot shoe like it's supposed to, the screen can't flip all the way up. That kind of sucks. Now, I could buy a cage for it, but then you lose the smaller footprint that you get that kind of is in this X100VI, which is why I wanted it in the first place. In addition to that, the X-E5 doesn't have weather sealing. And so you think, well, Eric, how often is that important to you? Not that often until it is. I'll give you an example. Next month, in about 1 month from today, I'm going dog sledding with my mom. Yeah, crazy thing, 70th birthday wish. It's going to be really cold out there, and it's going to be snowy. And I want to document everything, so I plan to hang a camera off my neck and just capture as much as I can. The X-E5 is not weather sealed. I don't know if that's the right camera for it. In addition to that, it has the small batteries in it, and so the cold is going to do a number on those. Now, you can get around that by carrying a couple of them, but you still go back to the fact that it's not weather sealed. So what do? Tape up the ports and roll the dice? Maybe. But if I'm wrong, then what? I'm out a $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 camera? That sucks. And then there's the second part of it. Ergonomically, I've had to add a grip to it, because when you put bigger lenses on it, the ergonomics are very challenging. And so that's not the perfect camera either, although this comes darn close. And its autofocus is okay. For sports, it's not great. It's just okay. You can make it work, for sure. You can, but it's not awesome like a Sony or a Canon or even the new Nikons are. Or even new Panasonic is better, for sure. Heck, Olympus. It's serviceable, but certainly it's not great. So enter now the Nikon Z5. Now I don't have many lenses for this. I do have some coming. Right now I have an old Canon FD lens mounted to this. This in a lot of ways solves the problem that I have. It has a flip screen so I can see myself. It's got a big battery in it, so the battery lasts a long time. It is weather sealed. It has a decent EVF. It's got 2 card slots, good autofocus, nice grip. I mean, really, this can do everything. It solves a lot of the problems that the Fuji has in my life, except it's got one big problem against it. Well, 2 really. One, it's bigger, it's bulkier. And so going back to my goal of documenting my kid's life and what's going around me and having my camera on me all the time so I can capture those moments makes this a little bit harder with this camera, for sure. In addition to that, it's really an uninspiring design. And I'll say this thing about Sony, about Canon. Part of it for me is the way the camera feels in my hand. Looking through maybe the OVF in this case. Just the overall aesthetic, the buttons, the tactile feel, the clicking of the aperture ring. That stuff all matters to me. And so this Z5 II or in Z6 III or Z8, it doesn't really have that. If I'm going to a Red Wings game, I can't put this in my pocket, you know? But on the flip side, it does have amazing image quality. And it does support something like this. Big Nikon 70-200. Now this is the F-mount version. And I've used this a little bit. I might swap it for the Z-mount 70-180 just because it's cheaper and smaller and lighter. But this plus the Nikon Z5 does an awesome job for capturing my kids' sports. And my son is only going to play, maybe my daughter, if she gets into it, is only going to play sports for so long. This year, my daughter, who's 17, she's done with her sports. That's it. No more cheer, no more gymnastics. It's over. Now, unless she gets into something else post-high school, which I don't think she's going to do, that's probably the last chance I had to ever photograph her. And that last day came and it went and I didn't even know. It just flew by. That's the stuff I think about. I think about it all the time. So having something capable like this to shoot sports for my son when I'm not coaching, because eventually I will stop coaching, or when he plays for his other teams, it's important to me. I want to be able to go back and look at these memories and put them together. And overall, I want to do a much better job of documenting and doing the artistic side of photography. A lot of this channel is about gear, but it's tiring. It really is. And so now I want to talk about the portion that I've put in the title Cupboard Protocol, because something that I've had a really hard time embracing, and I didn't even term this coin this term, by the way. It was, I guess, coined by a couple of friends of mine, is that, you know, I have a buddy of mine that's a big gear hoarder. I call him a gear hoarder. Gabe, if you're watching, yes, this is you. He buys gear and just sits on it. And in a lot of ways, that's the right way to go, because you have a little bit of everything you need all the time, right? If you want a small camera, boom, go grab this. In this case, he's got an XT3 or an X100. He needs a bigger camera, he grabs like an XT4 or an XH1. He's a Fuji shooter, right? And so a lot of ways, that's the right way to go, because you have options available to you, better tools for the better job. But for me, and a lot of times, it is difficult because I do not like seeing thousands and thousands of dollars sit around unused. Even though, yes, I've probably spent that much money at least swapping gear all the time. Easily, I have. But that's probably the right way to go. Like, I should just leave this 70-200 sitting right here on this Z5 II and let it sit in the cupboard. And only pull it out when I need to do something that's very sports specific, or maybe I'm getting paid for portraits, or whatever I need the good autofocus, I want the full frame sensor. Where the rest of life maybe should be captured on this, or should be captured on that, because that's got the flip-up screen, and I'm using it for video. Why am I not using this? You see my point? That's kind of the issue. But I think that's probably the best way to solve your gas, is to look at what you're trying to do and what you're trying to shoot. Whether it's recording video, shooting sports, documenting everyday life, travel photography. You need something that's, going to hold up to the weather and the inclement weather of the elements that are out there. You got to keep one of everything and go for it. Right? I mean, and that's not to even say the new iPhones. If you shoot these things in RAW, DNG, and edit them in Lightroom, they look really good. They really do. I've taken some photos on that new iPhone, and they look amazing. So I have all this gear, and I want to get rid of most of it because I don't want all this stuff around. I don't want analysis paralysis. I just want to be able to grab something, be happy with it, be inspired by it, know it's capable, know it's going to do the job I want it to do, and go. And not worry about it. But I also need to have the camera that can do all those different things. And so for me, I could make the XE5 be all those things and just get around the weather sealing and the small battery and the poor ergonomics for larger lenses. Or I can make this do everything, put small lenses on it and just get over its larger size. I'll be honest with you. I enjoy holding the Fuji more. I enjoy the performance of this way more. And so I think ultimately I have to pick one of these two Fujis and keep this Nikon Z5 II for the times that I need what it can do, and probably use one of these two cameras for most of everything else. So I need to embrace cover protocol to cover off on that video, sports, paid work type of chunk of my photography needs, and let these Fujis be the EDC type stuff, everyday carry cameras. I think that's the way to go. Question is, X100VI or the XE5? All right, thanks for listening to my rambling. It is now 6:35 in the morning, and I am going to get some coffee. Hope you guys have a tremendous rest of your day. Had a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you soon. I've got a couple lenses over here that were sent to me I need to do a review on. See you in the next one.